Okay, what do we do next? We found out the midpoint, we have the frequency with us. What do we do with these two values?
Do you times them together? Or?
We times them together. We multiply 16 with this 4, and what do we get? 64. We'll make a new column over here that says fx.
Yeah,
Why? Because the formula for mean is sigma fx over
um,
sigma f.
yeah,
Does that make sense? So, in order
yeah.
for us to be able to do this, what we need to do is be able to find out what fx is so that we can take total of it. This is going to be 64. 10 times 19 gives us
119.
190. What next?
20. 168.
168. So on and so forth. Can you give me the next two values as well?
115.
115 and next?
78.
78. We add all of these together, we get 64 plus 190, 190 plus 168 plus 115 plus 78. We end up with 615. This is the sum of
So,
fx.
can you give me 1 second, please? I just gotta. This.
Come again?
Can you give me 1 second, please? I just gotta go.
I didn't quite get you.
This mouse, okay. Can you give me 1 second, please? I just gotta move, like, rooms. That's okay.
Rida, I'm afraid I didn't understand. I didn't get you. Can you speak again?
Could you give me 1 second? I just have to move rooms.
Sure. Apologies for this. I wouldn't understand what you were saying. Are you back?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go again. Sigma fx is the total of fx that we've got down here. That's 615. So we're going to plug in 615. What is sigma f going to be? Sigma f is the total of frequency.
Let's see. Yeah.
How much is the total frequency going to be?
Um. Uh. 30.
Come again?
30.
Why would it be 30?
Because you add all the frequency up, don't
We
you?
all add all the frequencies together. This comes out to be 30. We divide these two values together, and I think we get 20.5. 20.5 should be your maximum mean temperature. Okay? Why do I have a feeling you got kicked out of your room again?
Right?
Why do I have a feeling you got kicked out of your room again?
Yeah, I did.
Figure out. 5A. Factorize fully. What do we do with this question?
Um. You have to put it in the.
Your voice broke up. What did you say?
Do you have to find what 18 and 21 are divisible?
Perfect. What's the maximum number they're divisible by?
7? No. Wait, no, 7.
7 would divide 21, yes, but not 18.
3 with 18?
Let's try 3. Can we take any letters that are common or variables?
C squared.
C squared. We get 6cd squared, and what's gonna go over here?
It's just 7.
Just 7. That's your answer. You did this part correctly. we're not going to go through this question again because it was pretty lengthy, but I would just want you to help me understand what's going on over here. This one. What do we do? Rida? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Would you,
Yeah,
be, would, you be,
just
would you be
like
able to
before you
explain
close it.
what happened?
But
I can't hear you once again. Your voice is breaking up.
explain what exactly, sorry.
Okay. On question number 6, we did this yesterday, but I would want you to explain this instead of me explaining it again. So let's see if you can do explain the question or the solution.
Yeah. Um, so you need to find the sum of all the values for the first one.
Okay. And why is that?
Because you need that to be able to find the mean for all the students.
Okay, you essentially need all the sum of values of the 32 students of what they've scored all together. So that comes out to be 1760. All of those guys combined. Let me put that in a box. 1760 is the sum of all 32 students' individual scores. And what does 1456 represent?
The sum of all values for the second one, 28 students.
Perfect. The sum of all the scores that 28 students have scored in the other class, class B. Now, what do we do with these sums?
And then you can find the mean with them. So you add them both up, and then that's the sum of value for all 60 students.
Perfect. We're going to add
And then
both
you
of these
divide
up, and we're going to divide it by what number?
60.
60. Beautiful. That is going to give us the mean of 60 students. We did a personal and business finance question yesterday as well. Can you tell me both the formulas and what each of them represents?
I think he was principal. He was fine, and
What does principal mean?
like the cost, the amount.
Principal is not exactly the cost. Try to remember what I said yesterday about you taking a certain amount of money to the bank. What's that gonna
Yeah.
be?
Oh, yeah,
Right? Principal is what you have or what you're depositing in the business or in the bank. So what you're depositing right here is $2,000. That's the principal. I'll call it P. What does this represent?
the time.
The time in T, or sometimes it's called N in certain formulas. What does this represent?
The rate.
The rate R, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
In this question, now what is the formula for compound interest?
Is it A equals
We can go through your notes if you have them around. A is equals to
um, A equals P
P bracket
H divided by 100
1 plus R over 100 raised to the power
H.
T or N, right? What's the formula for simple interest? This is compound interest. What's the formula for simple interest?
PRT divided by 100.
PRT divided by 100. Perfect. Okay then. What formula are we going to use over here?
Is that the one for compound interest?
The one for compound interest. Let's put that to trial. How much is the principal?
2,000 gross.
2000. How much is the value of R?
4%
4%. And raised to the power
of 3.
3. You're gonna solve this, and that's gonna get you the amount of money that Teresa will have in her savings account at the end of 3 years, right? What are we
Yeah.
supposed to do in this question? Sam is investing some certain amount of money, but instead of it increasing, his investment is decreasing by 9% each year. At the end of the first year, just the first year, the value of Sam's investment was 1365. That's after decreasing. How much was it originally? Take a minute, think about it. Let me turn on my fan.
Would you use a different equation?
Okay. So what's the equation that we're going to make in this particular question?
The I equals,
Come again?
I equals PRT divided by 100. No.
I equals PRT over 100.
Yeah.
And what do we plug in this question?
T times 9. 1 divided by 100.
So time is 1. How much is the value of R?
Then 9.
9. 100 goes in over here as it is. What is the value of P?
T.
T. Okay. So I comes out to be 90 over 100.
Yeah.
And we can simplify or make it into a decimal. What is the decimal value of 9 divided by 100?
0.09.
0.09t. We're gonna stop that over there. We just found out what the value of I is, but it's still in terms of t doesn't really help much. What do we do for the what can we do to find out the value of t?
Use another.
Come again?
But we have to use another formula.
Sure. What's that formula?
A equals B. Not too sure.
Not too sure. We've only got 3 formulas, Rida. We've got this is formula number 1, this is formula number 2, and the third one that we have is amount is equals to principal plus interest. That's it. So it can't be compound interest because it's not a compound interest question. It's
Yeah.
a simple interest question.
Yeah.
For now, although if had it been multiple years, we would have used a compound interest formula, but since it doesn't really matter, it's only 1 year. What will the other formula be that we can apply over here to incorporate I, which is interest? That's gonna be A is equals to amount is equals to principal plus interest.
Yeah.
Okay. So amount is equal to what's the principal that he invested right at the beginning? T. How much has he lost out on?
9%.
9%, so that's 0.090. Remember, we did this yesterday. In fact, you
Yeah,
told me that this plus sign is going to change into a minus y
because it's being decreased.
because it's decreasing. He's losing out on his
This way.
he's losing out on his investment.
Yeah.
So we have the value of a as he once he's lost out on the interest, which is the loss that he made. How much? What's the value of a? The amount that's left with him.
1,365.
1,365. Can you solve the rest of the question and find me the value of t?
Um, can you cancel out T?
Can we cancel out what?
T, you know?
Not quite because they're getting subtracted, right?
Yeah.
You can subtract them, you can't cancel them out. You can only cancel them in division.
Oh, so add, add, 1, 2.
So you will have to be a little louder, I can't hear you.
I guess just add 1 T to the side.
If you add 1t to the other side, let's say you've got I'll plug this in like this. You got, once again, really basic examples. 2 apples minus 1 apple. What do you have?
1 apple.
1 apple. You can just assume t to be an object that you can subtract, right?
Yeah.
Just like this, you can subtract 0.09t from 1t. So you can plug that into your calculator. Do 1 minus 0.09 and let me know what you get.
Wait, 2 T minus 2.
Obviously, you can plug in t into the calculator, so you're simply going to plug in the numbers. You're going to say 1 minus 0.09. That's it.
0.91.
0.91t. Now, what can I do to isolate the variable t?
You need
Continue, Rida. Come again.
you define
Did you say divide?
yeah.
What are we going to divide? What are we going to divide it with? If we have a question of this sort, 10 is equals to 2x. What number do we divide and what do we divide it with?
Divide 2x by 10.
Divide 2x by 2, divide 10 by 2, and we simplify this. This becomes 1.
No,
X is equals to 5. So you're right there. You're almost there. You just need to isolate this variable t. So what do you divide both sides with?
divide it with 1,265.
1,365 doesn't have a variable next to it. You're supposed to isolate the variable.
Yeah, sorry.
So you're supposed to divide both sides by 0.91.
Yeah.
How would that help? 0.91 would get cut with 0.91, and what are we left with? T is equals to? Sorry?
1,500.
1,500. This is the question that we were actually supposed to start off with, but we still have half the lesson to go. Let's see if we can do this. Show by shading on the grid region that satisfies all three of these inequalities. Label the region R. Which x is less than equals to 4. First of all, remember we did this when you specifically asked me to do inequalities. We changed less than equals to sign into and is equals to sign. X is equals to 4. Which line represents x is equals to 4?
Yeah.
That's x is equals to 4. Let's fix this a little bit over here. Where is y is equals to negative 2?
From the
This one?
yeah.
Any equation that starts with y is going to be a horizontal line. Anything that starts with an x is going to be a vertical line. Now where is y is equals to x going to be?
That's like this is straight line 7.
It's going to be a straight line going through
Going through just the axis. Okay.
x-axis. I don't think that's a complete description of it. Whenever you are unsure about any equation, what you can do is quickly make a table. Just choose some values of x and you'll get some values of y. Why don't you choose some values? Just choose 2 or 3 values of x.
3, 2, and 1.
3, 2, and 1?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, and 3. If you plug in 1 over here, what do you get for x? For y?
Y equals
2 for 2 and 3 for 3, right?
Yep.
It's gonna be 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. It's just gonna be a line rising from left to right and passing through the origin.
Yep.
Whenever you're unsure about what an equation would look like on a grid, just take 2 or 3 points.
Yep.
Now you're supposed to shade. X is less than equals to 4. Where is that going to be?
X is less than which also will shade the bit above it, the line. Or
This
to
is.
the right.
Let me take those equations next to the lines that are representing them. Now this is the line x is equals to 4. Are we supposed to stay on the left of it or right of it?
Then stay on the left because it's
On the
less
left
than.
of it. That's x is less than equals to 4. Y is greater than equals to minus 2. Where do we shade?
We X is below.
If it's
We shade above.
we shade above the line y is equals to negative 2. I'll choose another color so that we don't mess up the situation. Here we go. And lastly it says y is less than equals to x. This is the line for y is equals to x. Do we shade above this or below this?
Below. Above. No, below.
We shade
Below.
below this. Now, does the question say by shading on the grid the region that satisfies? Show by shading. Where do you see all of those 3 colors overlapping?
In the triangle.
In the triangle. What would you do? Essentially, end up doing is you're just gonna leave the question like this by shading the triangle. Make sure if you've done your shading to help you understand, do it lightly so that you can erase it afterwards, or if you can do it mentally and figure out where the final answer is gonna be, you can do that as well. Now it says label the region R, so you're gonna write a big R inside it as well. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Find the gradient of the line with the equation this. Are you familiar with y is equals to mx plus c? What does this represent?
The gradient and the y. The y-axis.
The gradient and the y-intercept.
Yeah, y-axis.
This guy is called the gradient. This one's the y-intercept. They're asking for the gradient. Can you help me change this equation into this format?
And we seven equals
We need to start off with y.
yeah.
So if you were to start off with y, what number are you going to get rid of in this equation first?
7.
Our left hand side should only have y, right? So we're
Yeah.
gonna say 2y is equals to 7 minus 5x. Why did we
Yeah.
do that? We're trying to isolate y, so we threw the 5x on the other side. This went on the other side. So we're left with 2y is equal to 7 minus 5x. How do we get rid of this 2?
Um, we take. Wait, how did we get rid of the 2? How to.
Come again?
So what did you ask for?
I'm trying to make this equation into this format, right?
Yeah.
So what have we done currently? We've gotten rid of this 5x. We threw it on the other side of the equation. We threw it on the right hand side of the equation, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you take a look over here. 7 came down over here, and the 5x is with the 7x is with the 7 now because we threw the 5x on the other side. On the left hand side, we're only left with 2y. Now we need to isolate y. Why? Because we're trying to make it in this format where we only have y in the left hand side. So how do we get rid of the 2 which is getting multiplied with the y?
We take away the 2.
Did you say divide or did you say equate?
That take away strength.
I'll have to wait, Rida, I'll have to get my earphones. I can't hear you properly. Got you on the big screen now. Hopefully, I'll be able to hear you better. What do we do with the 2y now? We divide both sides with 2. So we divide this by 2. We divide this entire thing by 2. These two get cut out. We're left with 7 over 2 minus 5x over 2. We can break it down as well, right? Now, have we successfully been able to convert this fraction into this form? Is it exactly like it, or do we still have one or two steps to go? So what do we do now? I'll write it over here. I'll write it over here. This is what it looks like. The term with the x should be on the left. The term with just the constants should be on the right. So all we need to do is rearrange. We're going to say y is equal to 5 over 2x plus 7 over 2. Now it seems to be in the format that we wanted it to be. Why? Because if you take a look, y matches with the y, the x is over here, the constant is over here, and this must be your value of m. Is this making sense or no? It is? So what's the gradient of this straight line? Minus? You'll have to move your mic a little closer to your mouth. I can't hear you.
5/2.
Minus 5 over 2. Question number 10 is a typical cumulative frequency question. Use your graph. Alright, the first one's correct, the second one is wrong. Use your graph to find an estimate of the number of people who took longer than 55 minutes to shop in the market. We've got time on the x-axis, and I can see that you tried your best and tried to find the time, tried to find the value at 55. You went up here, perfect selection and identification. This is what your value came out to be. What did you write? 60. Why did you write 60? That doesn't make quite a lot of sense, but okay. So what's this value coming out to be? What you this is your line. How much is this representing?
40.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Now what does the question say? People who took longer. Are they asking for the values on the right of it or the left of it?
On the right.
On the right. Now take a good look, Rida. On the right we've got these values. Now we have to go to the left. Right? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
How much do we have? What's the number of values over here? How much is this? Above 48 and below 60?
Um, I got 12.
12. That was your answer right there. 12. Why did you divide 60 with 12? I should have given you an entire 2 marks. See, your teacher's really happy with this. The fact that you're explaining, you're giving a reason, and you're giving the correct reasons, right? Well done. But something went wrong over here. It was worth how many marks? 4. No, you got the entire 4 marks. Perfect. Oops. This is pretty easy. This chapter is called indices.
Yeah.
This is where students usually score marks. Rida, what happened to you?
I don't know. Do it.
Okay, what's anything raised to the power 0 gives you?
Just
Just
1.
1. Alright, let's write this again. 2 over y raised to the power 0 is also going to be
0 over 1.
2 should have been your answer. That's simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Simplify fully. This is perfect. Oops. Expand and simplify. Now when you expanded this, 15 to 3 gave you 15x squared. Shabash. 5x into 4 gave you 12. Oops. This is where you missed out on an x. This is where you missed out on an x. So this is probably getting carried forward. You factorized it as well. Why would you do that? Would that help? Not quite. Rida, let's go with this. So I'll cut this out. So imagine you've done this and you multiplied this, and this is what you have ended up with so far. So I'm going to put this in brackets. This is your solution. I'm going to drop this 2x minus 1 as well. Can you help me solve the rest of it? This is just distributive law. So you multiply this with this, what do you get?
30.
30x cubed. Then you multiply this with this, what do you get?
15x squared.
This with this.
40 squared. And 20.
Is there anything that is similar?
15x squared, 40x squared.
When you add them together, what do you get? Remember, you're adding a negative 15 to a 40. That's gonna drop from 40 minus 20x. Expand and simplify. This is your answer. That that easy. All you had to do was do two more steps. What you're doing over here, Rida, this process is called factorization. The one I'm highlighting in orange. Frequency density, okay. The histogram, it gives information about the times in minutes. Some customers had to wait to be served in a restaurant, okay. Da, 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 da. As Rida, I would not be able to help you out in this. The reason being that I can't see these values. Were they there in the question? Then we might be able to do it, okay. 14 customers had to wait less than 10 minutes to be served. Work out the number of customers who had to wait less than 60 minutes to be served. What's the formula for frequency density? Why am I using frequency density? Because the question says the graph is plotted against frequency density. Frequency density is equals to the frequency divided by class width. Why don't you write this down so that you remember it next time? This is question number 13. Frequency density is equals to frequency over class width. How much is the frequency for when they say less than 10 minutes, how much is the class width from here till here? 10. So I know that I have to plug in 10 in the place of class width. Frequency, how much is the frequency over here? They're also saying there were 14 customers, so how much does that make? How much is the frequency? 14. So we can write frequency density on the left as it is. We plugged in 14 in the place of customers. We plugged in 10 in the place of class width because 0 to 10 is 10. We divide this, we get 1.4. Now what does 1.4 represent? Or how does this help you if I were to write 1.4 over here? See the line over here for 0 to 10? We just found out its frequency density to be 1.4. How does this help? Any clue?
It shows the frequency.
Well, it does show the frequency density, you're right, but it would help us in finding or being able to label what is. Do you see? He hasn't labeled the graph. There is no value 5, 4, 3, 2, and so forth. So if he hasn't given the values, we have to figure out these values ourselves. Now we know that 1.4 is represented by these many lines. How many lines do you see? 1, 2. How many lines do you see over here? I guess there are 14. So what you can do is if you're supposed to find the value of each small line, value of each small line on the grid or on the graph, value of each small line, that's the jump in value. Write down this little formula that I have. Jump in value, you won't be able to find it in the book, over the number of small lines. The jump in value is of 1.4, the number of lines are 14. Can you tell me what each small line is going to be of? How much is it going to be of? 1.4 divided by 14 gives us 0.1. So now we know this is 0.1. Let me choose a smaller font. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, so on and so forth. Every single small line is 0.1. Work out the number of customers. So you're asking for the frequency who had to wait less than 60 minutes to be served. Now, less than 60 minutes, just like you've drawn a bar over here, you had the correct idea that you're supposed to find the value of every people, all the minutes, all the way up to 60. So what's the formula for frequency density again? Since we're running out of space, I'm going to use the same space. What's the class width for less than 60 minutes?
Um, 14 by 1.
So what should go in the denominator? Just the class width.
10.
60. This time around, we're solving for all the number of customers who had to wait less than 60 minutes. Now we don't have the frequency, so we're supposed to find out the number of customers, but we do have the frequency density. So how much does this represent, Rida? I'm going to draw a line over here, take a look. I'm going to extend this line. How much does this represent?
Um, 14.
What line are you looking at?
The one that you just 14.
But I'm trying to refer to the value on the y-axis.
Oh,
0.2. Remember, we're trying to find the frequency. We're trying to find the frequency, so we're going to plug in all the values except for frequency, because that's what we're supposed to find. Now, can you help me find the value of frequency? 60 with times 0.2. What do we get?
60.2.
Not quite, Rida. 60 times 2. 60 times point. 12 is the number of people. 12 is the number of people or number of customers who had to wait less than 60 minutes to be served. Does this make sense? Okay. What's the next question about?
Next question.
Yep. What topic is this? This one's called graphs of functions. So the question says, use the graph to find an estimate of the gradient to the curve at P. You've drawn a beautiful gradient. I think that's almost perfect. Let me take a look. Is this yellow part that I'm marking equals to this yellow part? Not exactly, but almost there. So it should be in range. Now you've drawn a small triangle. I can see that you're trying to find change in height over change, rise over run. You're doing the concept of y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. But Rida, if I were you, I would have chosen an easier set of numbers. I would have chosen this, and I would have chosen I would have gone down like this, and I would have chosen these 2 points. Can you tell me why? They're on the axis, so instead of getting decimal numbers, I will most probably get whole numbers. What's this point up here? 0, 4. And what's this point down here? Minus 4, 1. This is 1. So now it's way more easier than the points that you selected to find the slope. If I would write m, what's the formula for gradient?
and y
Come again?
and y y plus y over x plus c.
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or in other words, you can simply tell what's how much is the rise divided by how much is the run. Run is the horizontal distance you're traveling. Rise is the vertical distance you're traveling. So you are going from all the way from 1 to a 4. That's a rise of 3. And you're going from negative 4 to 0. That's a run of 4. I know my answer is gonna be 3 over 4, but let's confirm that. y2 minus y1 is 4 minus 1. x2 minus x1 is 0 minus minus 4. 4 minus 1 is 3, and 0 minus minus 4 is 4. So we got the same answer as 3 by 4, which we did from the concept of rise over run. How many more questions are we left with? Around 4. Around 4. Would you want to continue? We still have another 9 minutes, or would you want to do this tomorrow? Your choice. Come again? Sure, sure. So let me write this down. We went all the way up to question number 14. Let's, let me fill this out. Can you see the screen? So we derive P2. We went all the way up to question number 14, right? Yep, we did. Whew. Chale. Rida, your homework is gonna be you're supposed to watch the video that I upload on P2 now, which is the current recording. Okay? I might ask you to go over some questions tomorrow so that let's for me to be able to see how much of it do you remember. Okay? Okay. Khudafez and take care. See you tomorrow.
Okay.